over here, lizard of breath. It's a ba-bomb! He's got a ba-bomb! Ba-bomb. Hello people of the interwebs, this is Luke Moore back with a new review. And today I'm going to be reviewing the World of Nintendo Bowser's Lava Battle Set. Now this is one of the 2 3-packs that contain re-releases of older figures. The other one being the Mushroom Kingdom pack, which contains Mario, Peach, and the Open Hands Luigi. While this one contains Bowser, Bob-omb, and an exclusive Mario. You'll figure out why it's exclusive in a minute. But before we take a look at it, let's take a look at the packaging. So here we got the packaging for it. I think it's pretty much the same size as the 6-inch scale figures box, and it kind of has the same color scheme as Bowser's box, you know, with the red and the yellow down here, but they just added the brick bridge and the lava down here for the lava battle set. You got the World Nintendo logo, you got the Title Seal of Quality, ages 3 and up, you can see right there. Super Mario, Jakks Pacific, the Bowser Lava Battle Set, includes the characters here. On the side, you got Mario with a Bob-omb parachuting down. And the other side, you just got Bowser here. On the top, you got Bowser in an attack pose. On the bottom, nothing. And on the back, you got a little bit of the lava castle background and a description of how many points of articulation that each figure has. I love Mario right here because he's kind of in this "Hey boys" type pose, and also the background here, which I'll get it out of the box. The backdrop of the box is actually the lava level. I think it's from New Super Mario Bros. U. But however, it is kind of underwhelming. I mean, the backdrop for the Mushroom Kingdom pack was really nice. It had a background of the Mushroom Kingdom. The bottom of it was thick and it was green to represent the grass, and it looked really well with not just the figures that came with the pack, but with like amiibos or other figures. This one, not so much. As you can see on the sides, you can see the outline of the Mario and Bowser art on the side. And the floor is just a depiction of lava. There's no like bridge platform to put the figures on. So yeah, it's pretty underwhelming. So I'm not going to use it whatsoever. So with that said, let's take a look at the figures. Okay, so first I'm gonna do Mario by himself because honestly, he's the least interesting for me. Not because he's a bad figure, far from it. It's because I already have the SH Figuarts Mario, and here's a little size comparison between the two. They're the same size and they're pretty similar to articulation, but I'll get into that really soon. Now, the reason I say that this is an exclusive Mario, it's because there's multiple versions of the same figure. The first one that was released back in 2014 had this open mouth smile and closed fist. However, the paint on the head of that original run was terrible.
The eyes were a little too small and it wasn't very accurate to anything. And the hair was a little too red and it kind of blended into the hat. But luckily the re-release of this figure that came out last year and the one that came in the Mushroom Kingdom pack fixed these issues.
The second release had a closed mouth expression and open hands, like this. And now the third one, which is this one, kind of combines the two, where it has the open mouth smile and the open hands. And now, just released, there's a fourth one that has the closed mouth smile and the closed fist. So yeah, 4 different standard Marios in the same line. But overall, this Mario figure is very nice. The sculpt on the head is nice, and the paint on the eyes and the hair are a lot better than the original one, like I said. He has the blue overalls, the red shirt, the red hat with an M on it, and they look really nice. And as you can tell, the overalls have a little bit of design in them. And he also has the brown shoes and the white gloves, which, by the way, do not yellow, unlike the SH Figuarts version. I don't know why, but whenever I mess with the SH Figuarts Mario and Luigi, the gloves turn yellow the more I touch them. And apparently no one else has this problem. I guess that's just how my hands are. But yeah, overall, it's a really nice figure. And the articulation's pretty good too. The head's on a swivel, but however, since his head is so big, it's very limited. The shoulders can swing outwards, and this is something you can't do on the SH Figuarts version. So that's pretty cool. And they can go all the way around. He's got an elbow bend that could go 90 degrees. He's got a swivel at the wrist. And the legs have a little bit of articulation. You can twist them a little bit, but they only go out this far and only back this far, so, and could split out. So that's where the SH Figuarts version is better in a way. It has better leg articulation. And he has a bend at the knee that can go 90 degrees, and he doesn't have an ankle bend. So almost the same articulation as the SH Figuarts version. But unfortunately for me, mine has a lot of quality control issues. And by a lot, I only mean two. First of all, the part of his hair where the sideburns and the back connect is not painted. So that's kind of unfortunate. But the biggest problem is my hat was glued on sideways, and there's really no way to fix it. But overall, it's a pretty good Mario figure. If you don't have the SH Figuarts Mario, or if you haven't picked up a Mario, this one in this pack is pretty good, and it's a nice substitute for the SH Figuarts version. Okay, so let's take a look at the two baddies of this set. So first of all, we got the 2.5-inch Bob-omb, and it's basically the same as the standard release, except I noticed it's not as shiny as that one, but it still looks pretty good. You got the fuse, the beady eyes, you got the orange legs and feet, and the gold wind-up key, which I don't know if you can tell, but the paint has a little bit of a shimmer to it, so it looks really cool. So yeah, this Bob-omb is very, very nice. It does feel a little bit hollow, but it's not as hollow as like the SH Figuarts Boo or Build a Bill. So yeah, it's a nice little enemy. And now we go in for the big guy, Bowser, which I need to scoot back the camera for this one. So here we got Bowser, and he looks really cool. It was one of the first 6-inch scale figures we got in the World Nintendo line, all the way back from 2014. And yeah, it looks very nice. You got the hair, his face, his teeth are really nice. You got the spike wraps around his bicep and wrist, the design on his stomach, and the claws, and the shell, big green spiky shell. So yeah, looks pretty good. Now, the sculpt is not as good as the SH Figuarts one. That one had like hair design and actually scales sculpted in him. And on this one, the heels are not painted on it. But at least they took this black text and put it on his feet instead of the tail, so it's not as noticeable. But yeah, the Donkey Kong from the same line, they actually did sculpt in fur. And even on the Bowser Jr., it had little hair details. but this one doesn't have any of that. But it still looks good. Now, there are two problems I have with this figure. One is the soles aren't painted, and the other one is that you see, it looks like he's kind of leaning to the right and kind of straightening out his head, but the head is not really put on straight. So it seems like it was like molded in a specific pose, and then you just add the articulation, which causes a lot of problems. Like this arm doesn't go all the way down, whereas this arm does. But the articulation still works. And also, I think this release of Bowser is actually better than the original. Because, for one, the green line here that kind of connects this piece to the back of his head wasn't on the original release, and it kind of made the eyes look weird, but now it's there, and it really makes it look a lot better. And second, the chain is actually sculpted better. On the original, the neck brace was very thick and pretty sloppy, especially on the left side where it had this weird little loop on it. But luckily, this new version, it's just straight and even, so that's really good. And as you can tell, the paint is much nicer, a lot cleaner. There's no paint scuffs or anything like that. The only paint flaw that I've seen is that the shell is not fully painted on. As you can see, there's little white marks to where the green is supposed to be. But that's just an issue with mine. But other than that, it's a very, very nice looking figure. The paint job is much better. And it doesn't have a lazy eye like some of the older ones. So yeah, that's pretty much it with Bowser. Now let's get into the articulation on both these guys. So the articulation on Bob-omb is just as you expect with him. The wind-up key can rotate a full 360. And so can the feet for whatever reason. But yeah, it's just 3 points of articulation, pretty standard for the 2.5 inch line. But it's just enough for a Bob-omb like this. Now for Bowser's articulation, it's okay, but it does kind of suck compared to the SH Figuarts version. The head does not rotate, it can't do anything, mainly because the hair is sculpted into this groove in the shell. But however, on mine, I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of shifts up and down. But that's probably some damage doing all that. So yeah, the head cannot rotate, so don't even try. The arms can move a full 360. They're on a little ratchet joint, so you can go around like that. And the elbows can bend. This elbow can bend more than this one. And the hands are on a hinge. And they technically do have a swivel on it, but it is very, very tight, and I don't have a hairdryer to loosen it up. So that's that. The legs can move full 360, and they are on a hinge. As you can see, those are like the little groove there for the hinge. And the legs do feel hollow, but just be careful with it. And the tail can move a full 360. There we go. So yeah. So yeah. Compared to the SH Figuarts Bowser, his articulation kind of sucks. That one has the head articulation because that one actually has a neck, while this one doesn't. And it also doesn't have the ankle articulation. But this one does have a tail articulation, as pointless as it is, but hey. So, yeah, you can't really do a lot with this guy. You can just do that, or just have him roaring. But, Yeah, you can do some stuff with them. So, yeah, that's the articulation on them. Now let's do a little size comparison. Okay, so first up, here we got Bowser and the Bob-omb next to the SH Figuarts Luigi, Mario, and Yoshi, and they look pretty good together. I didn't bring out the Mario from this set because he's the same size as the SH Figuarts Mario, so kind of get the idea. But yeah, overall, they look good. Bowser is nice and tall like he should be, and the Bob-omb is just as big as the Goomba and the Buzzy Beetle from the SH Figuarts line. So yeah, they look really great together. And here they are standing next to the World of Nintendo Fire Bros. And here we got him standing next to the World of Nintendo Wario and Waluigi. And again, they look very well. And finally, here we got the World of Nintendo Bowser standing alongside the SH Figuarts Bowser. And yeah, as you can tell, the World Nintendo one is a lot bigger, it's more in scale, but the SH Figuarts one just has better sculpt and a little bit better articulation. It has ankle articulation, but unfortunately the tail doesn't move. And the wrist can move easy. So, I don't know, I can't really decide which is better. I would say get both. If you collect both the 4-inch figures and the 2.5-inch figures, they're both good to have. If you have the SH Figuarts or the rest of the World Nintendo line, then go for the World Nintendo Bowser. But if you have the 2.5-inch Mario figures, go for the SH Figuarts one. But either way, both are great. So yeah, that's basically it. Now let's get into the final thoughts. So overall, this is a really, really cool pack. The Bowser is a nice, big, hefty figure, and even though it doesn't have the same amount of articulation or doesn't look as nice as the SH Figuarts version, it's still a pretty nice figure and it looks good sitting on your shelf. The Bob-omb is a very nice little figure. I didn't expect it to like it that much. And the Mario looks cool too, even though it has some problems with it. It's still a nice figure, but considering that I already have the SH Figuarts Mario and that there's 4 versions of this exact same figure, kind of underwhelming in this particular pack. But I would say if you missed out on the original release of Bowser or you don't want to pay aftermarket prices for it, this is really cool to have. And you can still get it. You can get it on Amazon, Toys in a Box, and I think Entertainment Earth still has it. But that's going to be it with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one whenever I make it. So, bye-bye, folks.